Welcome back to Kingdom Wisdom from the Garage to Glory, where we continue to raise the hood of life and discover the purpose and plans that God had for creation. We've been talking about the image of God coming from Genesis 1:26. Let us make man in our image and in our likeness, and let him rule over everything that God has created that creeps and swims and flies in the air. And we came up with a couple of definitions that we have been talking about. And the first one is representation. And along with representation, I gave an example of Jesus being questioned by the Pharisees concerning taxes. Is it lawful for us to pay taxes to Caesar? And Jesus said, well, give me a coin. And because the coin bared an image, it bared the image of Caesar. And then Jesus just let them know, plain and simple, you give Caesar what belongs to Caesar, and you give God what belongs to God. And it was profound how he made that statement. So that gave me an understanding the image that we are bearing. We are bearing the image of God, and we are his representation. We are his identity. And as I want to go on into his likeness, now, for a note, we lost the likeness in the garden during what we call the fall of man because of uh, unable to allow God to teach us. We had made a decision to teach ourselves or to find another teacher, and that we already know that that was the enemy who had influenced us in the garden. So our likeness, we never really had a chance to understand what his likeness was like because it was just we never really got an opportunity to learn what his likeness is like. We continue to discover this through Jesus, who God in the flesh, and his likeness is like his character, his way of treating people, his love. Another illustration that Jesus so eloquently demonstrated. It, in other words, he said, "I only do what I see my Father do. I only say what I hear my Father say." And this likeness is compassion, love, a spirit of giving. Uh, we should walk like him, and we should talk like him. And these are in his likeness. And so Jesus just didn't carry God's image; he carried his likeness also. He would walk in God's likeness. And so we're imitating Jesus. That's who we supposed to be walking and talking and everything we seen Jesus do or heard he did. That's where we should at least practice. Even if we don't get it right, we still should be practicing the likeness of him. We bear his image every day because we are his people. We are he. It is he who has made us, and not we ourselves. Um, and once we can, and a lot of time we can have the image of God and totally miss His likeness because we are so uh, morally corrupt in our thinking, and that's where we miss the mark. So as I'm continuing to give you an overview of God's image and His likeness, we will be staying in Genesis for a little bit because there's so much in there. How did we lose our identity? Uh, we didn't lose our image, we lost our identity and our likeness because of the influence. Uh, and so we'll be staying in there for a little, staying in Genesis for a little bit to work our way up to the kingdom of God. And the reason Jesus came, it wasn't just for our sin, but it was for our rebellion. And rebellion and sin is both the same thing. And so I'll be sharing that. With that said, I'll see you Next Tuesday, Kingdom Wisdom from the Garage to Glory with Herman.